Good morning. This is Tony Huang, the founder of TechExecs Network. Here today we're in Seattle at the CIO panel forum. With me is Bill Peterson. Good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
Tell us a little about you and your company.
Well, I'm with Roth Crabtree Olson. Roth Crabtree Olson is a legal firm that represents the financial institutions in the foreclosure processes. And so our challenges, we're growing in this economy, and strong organizazations in a recession can grow, gain market share and such, and we're aggressively doing that. So we have some very unique challenges.
Well, as a CTO of the company, what are some of the things that you're facing these days?
Well, I think, growth is one of the issues, and with growth, you've got to be coordinated in how you do it. And, so what happens is you go from a small company to a medium company, and then suddenly, things like your procurement processes, your planning processes, your coordination and communications amongst the company becomes much more difficult. In a growth mode, company is being aggressive, so we're growing geographically, we're growing by market share, and we're growing by expanding our businesses into a vertically integrated enterprise.
Well, you're on our panel this morning. What are you going to be sharing with the audience?
Well, I was interested in this because of the social networking aspects, and the thing about social networking, instant messaging, Facebook, any of these social networking tools, is that we tend to ban them from the organizations, and we shouldn't be banning them. We should be using them. There are security issues, but we solve security problems. 15 years ago, it was the internet, and nobody wanted an internet in their business because it would waste time and it would be a tremendous security threat. Well, today, we've solved most of those problems, and we take great advantages of the internet. I see we can take great advantages, too, of social networking. So I'm here to tell a little bit about it and to learn a lot about it, I hope, too. So
we're really happy that you're here this morning.
Thank you, Tony.
With me is Steve Allen, an adjunct professor with University of Phoenix here in Seattle, Washington, and he's also with Boeing. You're going to be our moderator this morning, and you're going to be talking about trends and visions. Now, as an adjunct professor, what are you seeing the students wanting to do these days?
Oh, that's easy. We get probably most of our calls now are from students who say, I want to be a game producer. Can I code games? We kind of laugh at that, but really it's a very good indicator of what we need to be looking at as in the future of education, because gaming is what these young people are growing up on, and so I think that from an education and also from a business standpoint, we really need to take this in mind and look at how these young people operate, how they think, what they're looking for, and try to change our processes, change our ideas to fit this group, because they're our workers of tomorrow. Aside from that, of course, we have a lot of people coming in now who want to improve their own position in their companies, and so they want that education, they want that degree that opens doors for them in upper management, those kinds of areas. So we're looking at a lot of that.
Well, what is some of the subject that you teach yourself?
Well, I teach database. I teach the overviews type, how all of IT fits together. There's a whole raft of things that I personally teach. I'm also involved in the business side of the house, and how do you work the business side of IT, financing, and these are areas that aren't often thought about, but the IT financing is quite a bit different than regular business finance, for instance, or business. So we're into those kinds of classes also.
Well, this morning you're going to be sharing some of the trends and vision as far as the market's concerned. What are some of the things that you've seen that maybe we can hear from you?
Wow, when I look at the future and look at the trends that we currently are seeing, which is smaller, faster, I see that picking up. I don't see speed in the computer processing end of it as being growing as quite as fast. But where I do see speed growing is in the networking, because that's the area now that's holding back really our processing speeds. I see us going more and more to web-based type database, or I should say containers of data, not necessarily databases, over the next few years, I see ontology and semantic Web 2 type things taking more and more center stage. And I mentioned this group of young people coming up. By the time they get into our workforce, which is someplace out around 10 to 15 years, I really look for extreme miniaturization. Basically, we will be working not so much at desks, but running around multitasking with very small handheld computers. They're walking down the hallway doing everything they would normally do at a desk while they're talking to somebody else about getting data. These kids are multitaskers. You go down the mall, you see them walking down the mall, shopping, looking in windows, talking to their friends, and texting all at the same time and keeping it all straight. So they're very good at multitasking, and I think we're going to have our software and our hardware compatible with what they can do. We're also going to have a reduction in workforce just because of the sheer numbers of retirees versus people entering the workforce. And so we're going to have to do more with less. And so this will be one of the ways to do that, and that's kind of what I'm seeing is out in the future.
I really like some of your analysis of the future. I think it's very dead on, and we really appreciate you being on the panel this morning, and thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
You're going to be sharing with us this morning.
Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about virtualization. There's some of the new projects, some of the big things that we're doing. Also a little bit on social networking and Web 2.0.
Can you tell us a little bit about your company and then also your title, your role?
Sure. Columbia River Bank, we're a regional bank here in the Northwest. We have branches in Oregon and Washington, about 22 branches right now, about $1 billion in assets, 350 employees. I'm the IT manager, vice president of IT, and we're responsible for taking care of all the infrastructure and operations, voice over IP, all the exciting stuff, at least it is to me.
Well, I read your bio. Since 9 years old, you were programming, and let's talk about that. We wanted to learn a little bit more about you.
Sure. Well, thanks. Yeah, it was something I didn't even realize I was interested in computers till I got my first computer at the age of 9 for a Christmas present. And just, went to the library, got a bunch of books, and started meeting more people and learning, and the technology, the interest just really grew over time.
We look forward to hearing you on the panel.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
With me is John Poley, and good morning, John.
Good morning, Tony.
Let's talk about you and your company. What does your company do, and what do you do?
Our company is Washington Dental Service. We are part of the Delta Dental Network. We provide dental insurance for corporations throughout Washington State. Part of the Delta Dental Network, we also share a national panel of dentists with a nationwide environment, so we can help multi-state companies as well insure their corporations.
In your role as a CIO, correct? And what are some things that you're seeing as far as trends in the market and best practices in 2009?
A few key things. One is the investment we're doing in business intelligence. We're finding out that one of the key areas around helping transform healthcare, and oral health we see as a critical part of overall healthcare, is the integration and understanding of protocols around healthcare. And the way we're doing that is really looking at investing heavily into an enterprise data warehouse structure and putting business intelligence tools around that, so we understand the history of claims data such that we can understand patient history and therefore improve care and improve health.
There's a lot of CIOs and CTOs as part of our panel these days, and one of the key things is about storage of data, HIPAA information. As web services become more and more prevalent in the marketplace, they're also noticing that a lot of the consumers, our insurance companies are taking that data away. Are you seeing that in the market?
Yes, very much so. The HIPAA standards are getting more and more strict, and so we are looking at every facet of our strategy, from mobility, phones, PDAs, mail systems. You need to understand where data resides, and HIPAA data particularly needs to be understood because it needs to be very secure. So we're looking at that across the board. So everything from how we manage people using cell phones to everything to how they're managing the day-to-day activity and access or remote access with a lot of new people working from home. The challenge is making sure that all those environments are secure, centrally managed, and we contain the HIPAA data very closely. With our web tools, we're also seeing as well an extensibility of tool sets and information into the user's hands. And so it's an important way we look at how we firewall and protect data over time such that we can allow HIPAA data to be used and protected in any setting that we have.
Well, thank you so much for being on the panel this morning. We look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you, Tony.
So thank you for letting us